get going. We just barely have a quorum of the three of us. There's four on the board at this point. We had a fellow had to resign due to a I want to say illness, but he's got a surgery on his hip, so kind of rough. Mike's going to be out for a while. But there's the three of us here tonight, Rick, Peter, myself, and we'll get going. That's our attendance. The minutes, I'm going to suggest we just defer on the minutes. They came out about 4:45.
It's fine.
They get my mailbox. I didn't get a chance to look at them.
I did, they look fine, but we'll defer.
Yeah, I thought they looked all right.
Okay, thanks. And with that, we'll get going with the first item. There's three items on the agenda tonight. There is a findings of fact to read at the end. Item number 1, 251004 Salty Acres. It's a continued initial review.
Good evening, Alex Monastero with Chimberg Builders. So we're here tonight for a continued public hearing. We were here last month. We had an initial conversation about the 3-lot subdivision. I'm sure you guys remember. So we have some additional information that we submitted in order to, hopefully tonight get you all to accept the plan, jurisdiction of the plan, so we can schedule a public hearing.
Wonderful.
I wanted to just briefly go over some of the additional materials and answer some comments that came up in the interim between our last meeting and this meeting. So for the roadway, just as a refresher, the roadway was originally put in 2006, and then some upgrades were completed when the family subdivision was done in the rear, and I'm going to point that out here. So that lot was broken off by lot division for a family member. The owner, Kathleen Spang, is here with us tonight. Her son and his partner currently reside in that home down there, and so the road exists. It serves that existing residence there. So just a reminder, we've requested a couple waivers on the roadway because the road is in place already.
Right.
One of those is to not have to center. Thank you. I can ban away better when it's next to me. So one of them is to not have to center the roadway within the right-of-way. It already exists, so it's an existing condition, so we're looking for a waiver for that. The second is for the width of the road, which exists. It's in an environmentally sensitive area. There are wetlands on either side and existing tree cover on either side of a large portion of the road, and so asking for a waiver on that as well.
Remind us what the width is.
It's around 15 feet for the larger portion of the road.
And full width for 4 homes would be 20.
Correct.
Okay. It is a 50-foot right-of-way.
That's correct. Yep, it is a full width right-of-way.
Yeah.
Yes, easement. And just to point out, this, hopefully you guys can see from there, but this demarcation is the existing tree line, and then this isn't the best plan to look at for the wetlands because it's all green, but this is the wetlands line here. So as you can see, it just borders right up against that existing roadway. That impact has already been done, and so we're hoping not to have to increase any impacts for the width of the roadway there. Additionally, the reason that we didn't have the application accepted at the last hearing was because of some conversation about the 100-foot no disturb buffer around the vernal pool. We have since provided a copy of the permit that we got for as is, the way that it's shown, in order to develop the lot. So that permit is in hand. It's good for a period of 4 years to start construction, and then once you start construction, you have an additional 3 years to finish. That rule has not been.
Maine DEP.
That's correct. This rule has not been enacted yet. It's proposed, but it hasn't been put into place, and so we have the permit. So we're covered, under the existing permit that we have. So we should be good. There's very minimal impacts within the 100-foot no-cut disturb buffer. Were it to be enacted, the lot is primarily out of it. The tree cutting and the grading of the lot is primarily out of it. There's just a small portion that's in it. But the permit's in hand. It's good for 4 years. Were it to expire, if we weren't to build within that 4-year time period, we would have to then comply with that 100-foot no-cut buffer, and so we'd have to pull back in that cutting, and so.
So when you say you have the permit, do we have the permit as well?
I have a copy of it, I don't know if it's been
Have we seen it?
provided.
Do we need it, Nadia?
I think I received a copy of it, I uploaded it to the SharePoint.
Oh, all right, okay, cool, thank you.
Good evening, Rob McSorley with Spager Technics. I'm the site civil project manager and I deal with the permitting for DEP and whatnot. Two permits that you needed for this project. There's some wetland impacts that we'll have because we're creating the town required roundabout to make sure that we have good access there. And that's going to impact wetlands. As part of that, we have to get a wetlands permit. That wetlands permit is good for 4 years to the start of construction. If we start within 4 years, we have to 7 years to complete it. The second approval that we got is permit by rule. That's relative to the area that's around the vernal pool. The area around the vernal pool up to 250 feet is called critical terrestrial habitat. And you get a permit by rule by impacting less than 25% of that, which is what we got. That approval is good for 2 years, and we can extend it for another 2 years. So we basically have 4 years on that to take care of that.
From now or from when the project?
From December 19th, so 4 years from
When
December.
they granted it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when they officially issued it. So that's the timing on those approvals.
Tell me again, the first permit is also in hand?
Yeah, that's for the
Yeah.
alteration of the wetlands,
Understood.
okay?
Yep.
And if you have any more questions on that, I'll be more than
We'll be
happy to
here.
answer
All
them.
right. Thank you.
So the last thing that I wanted to cover before I answer any questions that you have were a series of emails that came in from one of the abutters to the project, which I understand you guys probably have a copy of those correspondence. A lot of those points have already been discussed at the previous meeting and, you know, just now in our conversation, but there are a few things that she brought up that I wanted to talk about. And just to reiterate, this is the abutter who, she's the partner of the lot that was created by lot division up here. So she uses Salty Acres for access to her home.
She's gonna be in on that road maintenance agreement, for example. Yeah.
Correct, yeah. So she had raised some concerns about the maintenance of the road, the snow storage, and the hours for construction. So I think all of that, you know, is standard as a result of your ordinance and what's allowed. We've shown an area for snow storage. We've talked about the maintenance of the road. It's private. There'll be a road maintenance agreement. We're happy to get her a copy of that document. We did offer to meet with her to, you know, answer any questions offline, and she declined to have a meeting. So, you know, you have our contact information on record, and you're welcome to pass it along if she wants to follow up on any of these things directly with us. We'd love to have that conversation with her, but just wanted to get it into the record for her if, you know, if she's listening or here.
You believe that if she comes to the public hearing and raises the concerns, you're gonna be able to
Absolutely,
answer?
sure thing.
I think
Yep.
That's what we wanna hear.
Okay. Do you want me, there was a few other things I can touch on. Do you want me to wait until we get to the public hearing? Okay. She asked about street lighting. No street lighting is proposed.
Right.
Any house lighting will comply with your ordinance, so no problem there. And then she asked about the homeowners association and the access to the open space. So same thing, you know, those documents can be made available to her, absolutely. We're happy to have a conversation with her about it, and so she can reach out with any specific questions. The last thing was the pesticide and herbicide use. Generally, that's not something that we would restrict at this time in this type of development. All of these homes have private wells as well, so it's in their best interest to protect the water for themselves.
Right.
And there's a pretty good, these lots are all over an acre, and there's a pretty good tree buffer around each of the lots, and so that'll help with additional separation between her and these new homes.
Just clarify, you're doing something special for snow storage?
Just that we've shown an area on the plan where there can be snow storage on the road.
It looks like the type of situation where the snow will be plowed to the side of the road.
Absolutely.
Right, and
Yep.
around the roundabout.
Yeah.
You're not gonna bring in a front
Oh, absolutely not.
end
No,
loader to?
nope, nope, nope. Yeah, very standard.
Rick, any questions?
No, I'm just reading through again a couple of the comments that the abutter made. I think that, so when you, I don't, if you can answer this, go for it. If not, don't. But when you said that you reached out to her and she declined, did she decline in the spirit of, oh, no, I'm all set? Or, hey, don't ever call me again, type of, you know what I mean?
No, I think just that she would prefer to, handle it at the public hearing rather than one-on-one.
Okay,
Generally, we try to make ourselves available to meet with the butters ahead of an application to get their input as part of the design and part of the homeowners association documents. And so we
Okay.
try to take those conversations offline because, we can just sit in a room together and talk through them
Exactly,
more
yeah.
easily. But she declined to do that, and so we'll do it here with all of you.
okay.
Anything else?
Now,
I just, we talked, I think, last meeting about when and if that other parcel, developable parcel on this is developed, that there may be a requirement to bring the road up to 15, or from 15 to 20,
Absolutely.
to 20 feet. That's understood, and
Understood.
if it's a condition of approval,
No
that's
problem.
okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's just, before we go much further, just talk about those two waivers. The center line, you have a problem with that? No?
No.
And the width,
no.
subject to the constraint that you said?
Subject to the constraint that it gets revisited
Yes.
when as and if
Additional
additional homes
are-
get added.
Are added. So
Yeah,
it's a
agree.
stretch, but it's okay with 4, we would agree.
Okay.
And if we had another one, it needs to be revisited.
And would there be a formal vote on the waivers required, or that's enough, we're good?
Yeah, the
It's usually at
waivers,
the public hearing, after the public hearing is when
Okay.
they would, when they do that approval process, they would agree to those waivers.
Perfect, thank
Yeah.
you very much.
we did have a couple, I don't know if the board saw in the memo, I know it came out, I think like Tuesday.
I was gonna,
We had some comments about the specific subdivision design standards for roads. There's a lot more of them than the land use ordinance. It's a little bit confusing because there are these 2 sections that reference roads specifically. And this, I sent you guys the memo too, so I don't know if you guys had a chance to look over it. But if you want to keep the existing road, the board would have to consider a couple more waivers. Our subdivision standards do require that the road be paved. I believe it's gravel now, and my understanding was that you did not intend to pave the road.
No, our intention is to pave the road, is
Oh,
to,
okay.
take the 15-foot of road that exists today and upgrade it to, a paved road.
Okay. Then,
and what was the other one though?
and then it's,
Said you thought there might be.
there's still another travel width, so I think it will be, Galen, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it will be 2 separate waivers, right? One for the land use and one for,
So you have
Subdivision?
there's chapter 415 has a standard, and then your chapter 240, which is your land use ordinance, has a separate standard. So there's really 2 waivers that are being requested with this. One is in chapter 240 of your land use ordinance, and then you would have chapter 413, which has specific requirements for a minor road, that you would have to waive those requirements there. As long as it's in the findings of fact, we'll be fine.
Just to clarify.
Yeah.
Both documents reference the need for a 20-foot road,
Yes,
and we need to waive both of those.
they're requesting a waiver, yes.
Yes, and 240 permits the planning board to consider?
Yes.
Okay, then we're good.
Yep.
I just wanted to at least substantially tell you that we're okay with that.
I appreciate
And
that.
as Galen said, after the public hearing, we'll read that into the record. Again, this is the preliminary
Yep.
Submittal, but I don't see any reason why that would change.
The
Thank
other
you.
waiver was 415-7.2D. That is the optional survey for the board to consider a hydrologic assessment.
Yeah, I didn't touch on those again because I thought that we had sort of covered them at the last one, but I'm happy to talk about it. The high-intensity soil survey and the hydrogeologic study, just because this is such a small subdivision and it's not an aquifer, that it's not
And it's
appropriate for those types of studies to be done.
I think we did talk about that last time and said we were amenable
Yep.
to that.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, all of that looks good. Nadia, what else in the comments from the code office do you want to hit on?
So the last one, we only had two. The last one is about the vernal pool buffer. We are recommending that the board consider a condition in the findings of fact that if that rule is enacted, that the subdivision comply with that 100-foot no disturbance buffer. I recognize our mistake that it was not enacted. I apologize. The legislative process is a little bit convoluted, I think. But I think we're one stage away from enactment, is my understanding. So our expectation is that this rule, protecting that 100-foot no disturbance buffer around a significant vernal pool, I think we're expecting full enactment in what, March-ish?
Yeah.
It would be
Sometime in the March area.
It would be pretty non-standard for a development to be held to a standard that gets passed in the future, especially where we have a permit. So just for my 2 cents is, we know that rules change all the time, and
I think it's just, the point's taken, right? I think you're being done a service to say, you're right on the cusp here. If you can make the design anticipate this and not have something that has to be fixed in the final that was okay in the preliminary, you know what I'm saying?
The thing in question, once again, it's not a town ordinance requirement, so we're addressing a state ordinance requirement. And once again, once we have permitted, we are vested in that permit conditions up to the length of the permit. So it'd be a substantial rework to work around that.
I see. I think we are, our standards, don't they call out that we have to say that this is in accordance with all of the state, and
Yes.
so I think there's a little bit of a gotcha there. You may have the permit to begin, but I think that we've got an ordinance that says you're not gonna get a building permit if you're not in accordance with the state.
And we are in accordance with the state.
Well, so you could get it today,
Yeah.
but by the time you go through this process and you have the final, you might be in jeopardy.
Okay.
You're likely to be
we
in
know
jeopardy is what I'm hearing. All right, so.
And just so
Is it fair?
for the board to consider, when we're considering these road waiver requests, I believe the justification was the impact on the environment and the wetland. And so I don't know what the justification would be not to also honor that that significant wildlife habitat as well, if the concern truly for the road is the wetland impact.
yeah, and we certainly can incorporate it into, it's been designed and our permit has been granted by the state, and so since the permit has been granted, if we change the layout of the lots, we have to go back to the state to re-permit, but that's okay. If it's something that is very important to this board, we can certainly, take it under advisement and take a look at that design.
We don't, again, I think it's important to get the public feedback before you finally act on the waivers.
Yeah.
But again, just something to think about as we're moving forward. The staff doesn't see an issue to hold this up because of a bureaucratic process. I think that the applicant has been providing significant information to the town to address our concerns. And I think most of the other concerns from Nadia's review of the application are fairly minor. I don't know if you saw it on there, it was the signature box just had city and town, and then there was a note that needed to be added to the plan. I didn't see it on the plan about all roads in the subdivision shall remain private roads and maintained by the developer or the lot owners per the section. It's just a note. It's very minor in detail. But overall, staff doesn't have any major heartburn over anything else. It was just making sure that you understand the waiver requests that the applicant has submitted before we would go to the public hearing section.
There's a development timeline issue here as well, right? Because you can't do this in 2026?
Correct. Because there's no growth permits available, they're already been allocated for the year.
Right.
So at the very earliest, that's what we put in the memo, as just a caution, that it wouldn't be till 2027 until ground would start breaking for new foundations, for new dwellings.
The infrastructure can still go in
Yeah.
2026.
Yeah, they can,
Yeah.
they can do the road improvements or anything else
Yeah.
that, yeah.
And without belaboring it, I just think that sometimes it feels like it's a burden to go through a preliminary and then a final. At least, one of the benefits of doing a preliminary is to get a heads up on what might be a problem in the future. And that's what we're
Absolutely.
talking about.
No, we'll take a look at it. Thank you, I appreciate it.
With that, all good?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I make a motion that this application is complete.
Second that motion?
We would have a public hearing at the next opportunity.
That'd be January 21st.
All in favor?
All in favor.
Well, do we have to say?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
thank you, sir.
yeah.
Got on the calendar.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Yep.
Thank you. Who's our case manager for this?
I don't think we've assigned one yet.
You want me to be?
It
I haven't
doesn't
done
matter.
one yet, but
Yeah.
if somebody can walk me through it, yeah. Okay. For Salty
Yep.
Acres.
All right, let's move on to item number 251203, Stone Road subdivision / Snapdragon Properties.
Snapdragon.
You're not Michael.
I'm not Michael, and I'm going to turn it over to Michael just as quickly as I can. My name is Howard Schultz. My wife and I own part of the subject property. We were last here about 8 months ago, I think in May, with a roadway that came off of Stone Road, and now this proposal comes off of Goose Rocks Road, and I wanted to take just a moment to let you know kind of what has happened over the last several months or so. And let me say at the outset that nothing has changed in terms of our desire to work with the property. It's the intention of my wife and myself to be able to have building lots for our 3 sons, one of whom is here, Ben, and perhaps a 4th lot that we would sell in 5 years or more to help offset the costs of building the road and acquiring the property or so. So in May, we came and we talked about a road off of Stone Road. Earlier in January, so about a year ago, our neighbor, a butter, our dog's veterinarian, and our friend Chris Angelos came to me and said, if I negotiate a purchase of an abutting property, would you be interested in a land swap? Long story short is that Chris and I have come to a tentative agreement, and the result of which would be to see whether or not we can put a road in from Goose Rocks, and if so, then we will effect that swap. So that's kind of where we are right now. Teradyne did the design for the Stone Road. We've asked Teradyne to do the design for the Goose Rocks Road, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have, but I think it probably makes sense to turn it over to Mike, and then I can return to the mic when it makes sense to you.
Let me just offer that.
Sure.
Well, I love the laces, by the way. I read this and I didn't come away with anything in my head about a land swap, so if you could make that clear as you talk, that'd be great.
Yep, so the subject property right now is composed of property owned by 2 people, some of which is in, let me know if you're better equipped to talk about this. But some of it is currently owned by Chris, who acquired it within the past 6 months or so. And the remaining part of it is the property that my wife and I have owned for about 2 years.
So I'm seeing a reference now on the introductory letter, Lot 5-4B and Lot A. Those are the 2, one of those.
I believe so.
Mr. Angelo? Yes. Okay,
Thank you.
I missed that.
I can explain. I even got a visual here.
Perfect.
Before, I see.
Good evening, Mike Tadema-Wheeland with Teradyne Consultants. We obviously were the designers of the plans that you have and preparers of the application. So great introduction by Howard. I brought a visual. What you see on this plan in the orange shade is the parcel that Howard and his wife, Victoria, currently own. And that's the parcel that was under review back in April. So we had a proposal for a private road off of Stone Road. It was and
Which one is Stone, the bottom?
Yes.
Yeah.
Got it, okay.
Stone Road.
Goose Rocks, okay.
So that orange or tannish or whatever color it is, was that, it's about 20 acres, give or take. And what you see outlined in blue is the new proposed parcel. That includes a portion of that orange shaded lot. That's the portion that the Schultzes currently own, and the rest of that blue lot that's surrounded in blue is currently owned by Mr. Angelos. Once the land swap is complete, the proposed lot owned entirely by the Schultzes will be that blue outline. So this plan just kind of shows the overlap between the two. Any questions on that before we get into sort of the proposal?
So pretty straightforward, the blue.
The blue is
with
the
just
proposed
those
lot.
2 little points coming down to Goose Rocks with,
Correct. Yep.
got it?
Yep. And so, I think I can do that without dropping a plate. This is an overall site plan. This was submitted. This is part of the package. This shows a proposed road coming off Goose Rocks Road. As Howard pointed out, this will ultimately support 4 lots. Those lots won't be created for a number of years, for 5 years or so, and they will be gifted to direct relatives. So because of that, this will not go through subdivision review. We're here for site plan review of a private road. The road was designed in accordance with the land use code, section 614 of the land use code for a private road serving 4 lots or more. So that is a 50-foot wide right-of-way and a 20-foot wide travel width. It's proposed to be a gravel road at this point, which is allowed by the land use code. The proposed road is just over 1,100 linear feet. It's about 300 feet shorter than the previously proposed road, because it's actually, it's closer to, the point of access on Goose Rocks Road is closer to the sort of prime buildable area that the Schultzes were interested in. So it results in about a 300-foot shorter road than previously proposed. And it ends in a hammerhead designed in accordance with the ordinance. So no reductions proposed relative to the land use code. There are one area of wetland impact right as you come off Goose Rocks Road. It's exactly 6,590 square feet of wetland impact. We've applied for a permit from both the DEP and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Those are in process, and we expect, or we hope to have those this month in hand, the approvals by the end of January.
Quick question, as you're doing that, the survey that Longview did for you comprehended both of the lots that are in play here?
It did. Yeah, Longview did two separate wetland delineations and vernal pool studies.
Yep.
On the Schultz lot and then later on the Angelos lot. So again, hopefully those wetland permits will be in hand by the end of the month. That said, DEP has not been super timely in turning around permit reviews recently.
Is there a workaround if you went in through the other access point, if you had to?
We studied that. It would result in probably a little less wetland impact, but there's when you get in, it would result, first of all, it would result in a longer road because it's not proximate to the, again, the sort of the best buildable area on this lot. And secondly, there's a really big knob of ledge, several hundred feet in from there, that would require quite a bit of blasting. So this will, I think it's the western leg that of this parcel that touches Goose Rocks will result in a much less impactful roadway. You know, the clearing width will be less, cuts and blasting will be much less, and it'll be shorter road.
Got it. Thank you.
So I think I'll stop there. Hopefully this is a fairly straightforward plan set and application. I'm sure there are a few questions. We did receive Nadia's memo. Thanks for the review and the comments, and both Howard and I are happy to answer any questions you have.
What did you say the total area of the acreage was?
It's about,
The new,
you know, I
once
don't
it's
think
after
I
the
did.
swamp.
It's 24.73 acres is that blue.
And
Blue
you said
outline.
how many lots you'll do?
4 is the plan.
Plus maybe one or three plus
Three
maybe
plus
Got it.
3 for family members, and then
Got it.
they may choose to create one for sale. And not that this is under review by the planning board right now, but it's the idea that these will be smaller lots, and then there may be quite a bit of open space.
Yeah.
That will be owned collectively by the lot owners. I should add the maintenance for this road will also fall to the lot owners as well. There'll be a road maintenance agreement in place for that.
Questions?
Not really. I mean, I don't really have any questions yet. It seems like it's pretty preliminary at this point. Seems like a nice idea.
Well, you say that, preliminary, this is not a preliminary and then a final, this is not a subdivision map, this is a site application. They want us to okay.
Okay, do it. Go.
Putting
Okay.
in a road
Yeah. Okay.
that you see there, the width of which and the direction of which is. We'll come back.
Yeah. Let me think. I'm
Yeah.
looking at it on Google Earth, trying to see the topology of the site.
So my only question, so it's 5 years to build out, and then it has to be family-owned for another 5 years?
That's correct.
10 years in total before you could sell that other property?
I'm not understanding.
Well, I think that the fourth lot would be able to be sold after 5 years. It wouldn't
That's what
have to
I-
wait an additional 5 years.
Okay.
So the 3 lots would go to family, and the fourth lot being sold, it still would not trigger subdivision review as long as they sell that lot after 5 years of owning this whole
But the other 3 lots could be developed before 5 years or not?
No, they would need, because the parent lot has to be owned for 5 years
Before
before
the
even a
development.
family subdivision
Got it.
can take place.
So something, just to consider, as part of this review, I know we normally deal with this in subdivision, but this is a road, that is going over the 10,000 square foot, requirement of your stormwater standards. This is something the staff needed guidance from the planning board. If you wanted to send, the stormwater management report that Teradyne has submitted, to Acorn for a third-party review. It is in your purview under Chapter 240 to have expert consultants review, especially when it's highly technical in nature. And so this is something that we haven't come across too often. Usually it's in subdivision. We have a separate escrow account that's established as part of the fee structure to have Acorn review any stormwater management reports that are submitted for those applications, but we need guidance from the planning board on if you desire to have this stormwater management report reviewed by Acorn.
It strikes me that we had this discussion on the original plan because there was quite a bit of elevation change, which could potentially impact stormwater, right? When you put a road on that elevation change.
We've also.
Is that any different
Also
here?
got a bunch of abutters down at the bottom of it too.
As you do here?
Yes,
Is
yeah.
the elevation change any less severe?
Much less, yeah, and let me talk a little bit about, stormwater, where it goes today and how we've designed the drainage for the road. So this plan, which again is in your packet, shows the elevation of the proposed road in this darker line, and then the lighter line under it is the elevation of the existing ground. So if you were to walk along the center line of the road, this shows elevation of existing ground and then elevation of where the proposed road will be. So that's a long way of saying where the black line is on top of the lighter line, the proposed road's gonna be very close to where the existing grade is. And the reason we're able to do that much more with this road design compared to the previous is because this area is just much flatter than the previous.
What is the scale there? What is the elevation change?
1 to 40, so every one of the, I don't know if you can see the squares in the grid, it's five
Yeah,
feet.
yeah.
So each one of these blocks is 5 feet, so
Over the length of the road,
there's a
we're
10
up-
times exaggeration on this.
You're up 30 feet about over the course of the road.
Yeah, and so the steepest slope on the previous road we were looking at, I think was 10%. We were coming off Stone Road at 10%.
Oh, yeah.
The steepest point, the steepest section of this road is 5.75%. So a much more sort of reasonable, flatter road section.
So I did reach out to Acorn to get an estimate for what this would cost for them to review, and they don't believe it would exceed more than $1,200 for an escrow account. And they can certainly turn that out, I believe, within 2 to 3 weeks.
I for one wanted to see what Acorn would say about this. I'm a little nervous about how they're gonna do this without having the building envelopes identified and the potential for adding all that impervious surface. So I think it's important that there's a baseline now for this road that Acorn looks at, and I think that when the other lots are proposed, we need a condition that says, yeah, this needs to be revisited in terms of, is there a delta to the way stormwater is handled on this site? I'm nervous about this. Because this isn't going through subdivision, it doesn't mean that the situation in terms of the abutters and the environment is any different.
But it does mean the review standards are different.
I understand that, I understand that. That's why I'm in favor of
Oh,
having Acorn
okay.
look at this. Because I think it's an important issue. that we-
Yeah, I don't necessarily object to having Acorn, you know, I mean, we like when another professional reviews our stuff, because it gives you folks
We felt
some
fortunate
assurance.
that they've done it professionally and stayed on topic and put it in words we can understand, so, which is helpful. So, I
So
would,
is that guidance from the board that you desire a third-party review?
how do you guys feel?
I think, I agree with you. I think it would
I
be
do.
good. It's always
So
helpful.
we would love to see that.
Okay.
Give them the friends and family discount, right, from Acorn.
A-
Best possible.
In talking with Acorn, they do think it's not going to be as rigorous a review compared to a subdivision, where there's a lot more design
Oh.
standards and,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a well-defined path and. So having said that, can you say something about the maintenance of the stormwater system that is highlighted in the application?
Sure, it's a,
I mean, it looks like boilerplate, but it's kind of scary in a way. It says,
it's a relatively,
every time it rains hard, you gotta go.
it's a relatively
Someone
simple.
has to be on the hook for doing this and logging it and.
Yeah, it's a relatively simple stormwater system here.
Right.
The
Ditches
way
and-
stormwater is handled is in roadside ditches, so you know, a
Right.
typical ditch you'd see on any road. It'll
And-
be
and if there were-
vegetated.
If there were lots all along it and there were people there, then I wouldn't have this concern. But how is this gonna be maintained until that is developed?
Well, I don't understand. I
How
mean,
is
it would be
this-
the responsibility of the same
It'll be the
folks.
property
You're saying the property owner is gonna
Sure, yeah,
have
yeah,
that
yeah.
responsibility?
right.
So they will maintain this log that is referenced in here and.
Sure. Would you like me to talk a little bit about maybe what that entails? So again, so the system is made up of vegetated ditches, which I think you're probably pretty familiar with. And the only sort of other, I guess, feature is a level spreader. So water gets in these ditches. There are a couple culverts, so the culverts will need inspection, and inspection is just really looking to see if there's damage, looking to see if there's erosion, looking to see if riprap areas have been damaged by storms or anything like that.
Leaves and down trees.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
And then these ditches will direct stormwater to a level spreader. And what a level spreader is, it's really just stone. It's an impoundment with stone, and it's designed to impound the water temporarily and let the stormwater sort of filter through the stone, and it turns it from concentrated flow in a ditch, which can be highly erosive, back into sheet flow into the forest.
Right.
So that encourages infiltration into the soil. It reduces peak flows, and it reduces the chance for erosion. So really, the features again are ditches, culverts, and this level spreader, and
It's not
those
a
are
lot of
pretty
it's not
easily.
fancy infrastructure.
Pretty easily inspected,
Yep.
and if something does need to happen, you know, either the homeowners can
I just
do it, or
just
they can
wanted to
hire
hear that
someone
was gonna be.
if there's
And all
something
of that's
serious.
within the 50-foot right-of-way.
Correct.
Thank you.
I don't have any other questions.
I was just hoping you could go back to the first drawing and give us an idea of where you see 4 lots.
And we won't hold it to you. Hold you to it.
Well, what I'll show you is where sort of building envelopes
Nominally, yeah.
are
Yeah.
contemplated. So is this the plan you were talking, this shows the
Yes.
overall
Yeah.
site, and so I'll just sort of, I know I don't have generally, this area here, may contain maybe 3,
Oh,
and then maybe, and probably one on the other side.
okay.
That is what I believe they're thinking. They have engaged, the owners have engaged a landscape architect to work with them to sort of identify some of these building envelopes. That'll be developed in.
Those spots being the relatively flattest?
They're higher, yes,
Higher
they're
and
higher
flat.
and flatter, exactly. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I couldn't tell from reading this how many lots were envisioned, so this helps. If there's anything else.
Yeah, I'm looking at the GIS just to see who the abutters are. Don't see any big red flags or anything. Yeah.
I'm just looking at my notes when I read this afternoon. The stormwater report talks about the project was designed to meet performance standards of the town of Kennebunkport site plan regulations. And I wondered what that referred to.
So that's referring to your stormwater standards, which is for a 50-year storm event for when you exceed 10,000 square feet of impervious surface and disturbance.
That's in 240?
That's in 240. That's 240-10. Now you're making me.
No, I'm good. Just showing why I like it when we send these things to Acorn. Okay, with that, I would propose to say this is a complete application.
Did you read the staff memo?
Oh, I beg your pardon. Thank you. I did. But I'd like Nadia to speak to that, or yourself?
Now you can.
So this is, our biggest comment, I would say, is actually from, kind of a holdover from the last project, the note from the attorney about the deed language in those 4 lots. So obviously this is a little bit of a different project. The last one had the 4 lots shown on the plans. This one's a little bit, I think, more, I don't know, it's less concrete, yes, abstract,
Yes.
less concrete. Thank you, Galen. So we're just asking for basically a letter from the applicant acknowledging those requirements for the deed language, stipulating that once the lots are gifted, that they can't be sold for 5 years, and also acknowledging that if something changes and the subdivision rules are violated in some way, that there might be increased costs to the project due to having to go through official subdivision review and bringing up the road to that standard. So that's something that we're looking for from the applicant there. And then
Do you understand what he's asking for?
I do.
I'm not sure I do, but.
I do.
All right.
And I don't think, the applicant is opposed to it.
Yeah.
We have no problem with putting together the letter that you had laid out in your document.
okay, great.
Great.
And then just a couple of minor things. Every time we have a wooded lot, if you just should think about if you want to see a tree survey, as the road will go through those. You don't have to, but just something that flag.
That's item number 7 on the memo.
Right. Is there a requirement for it?
There's not. It
In
would
other
be
words, if this was a subdivision, there would be.
It's part of the submission requirements.
for site plan. So it would be, I think, technically a waiver that the board would grant, that they didn't have to note that they didn't have to do a tree survey. The language is all existing physical features on the site and within 200 feet thereof, including streams, watercourses, etc. Existing trees at least 8 inches in diameter as measured at 4.5 feet above grade. So this is one of the submission requirements on the plans. So it's just something for the board to consider if you would like them to give you that, or if you'd like to grant them a waiver.
This is a heavily wooded property, correct?
This is a
Very.
heavily wooded property. What I will say is, I've said this before to this board, the number and location of trees identified within this right-of-way won't change the design whatsoever, and there's no mechanism for this board to protect any specific trees, so, I mean, we designed this road based on topography and based on natural resources, which in this case means wetlands and vernal pool habitat. We don't put wiggles in the road to save an individual tree, usually,
Obviously.
so.
I don't think it's necessarily relevant for this project, but just a factual correction. The board does have the authority to put conditions and findings of fact to protect vegetation if deemed necessary in a tree survey. I'm not saying that that is what should happen here, but it is something that the board has authority to do.
I, for one, am comfortable with a waiver on that.
And then another comment I had was about the.
I am as well.
All right, so the board is not gonna require that.
Thank you.
And then I had a comment about stormwater. We've decided we'll send it out for third-party review. I had also another comment is about landscaping. You guys should consider whether or not you want a landscaping plan. Since there's no proposed disturbance outside of the actual road, staff would recommend a waiver there, but again, something for you to.
We would not propose any
I don't think we
additional plantings,
I
so.
don't think we need a landscape.
No, I don't
No.
think,
I
Put
don't
it
know.
in a road.
And then we've suggested our usual waivers for lighting, signs, and floor area. I'm assuming that I'm assuming since I didn't see it on the plans that there's no street lighting proposed for this.
There's no street
Street,
lighting
so-
proposed, correct?
No sidewalks, huh?
No sidewalks.
All right.
Trying to keep it narrow and rural and
No,
inexpensive.
in my mind's eye, I'm, envisioning it in a certain way. Sidewalks wouldn't fit
Yeah,
that. But,
yeah.
So those are my comments, mostly just things that the board should consider if they wanted to grant a waiver on. And then
So-
the letter
So I
about
think
the
we need
deeds.
to consider, do we want to say that this is a complete application, even though we're asking for an independent review from Acorn, or do you want to continue the review until we get that feedback?
well, what right do we have if, let's say Acorn comes back and they say, absolutely not, I found X, Y, Z.
Then we're gonna ask for an improvement in the stormwater management,
Okay.
Mhm.
whether that changes where the road goes or not, it may very well not, but it
Yeah.
would have to be
I think
something more
yeah.
elaborate or.
In my take is with the waivers that Nadia's identified, and it sounds like the board's comfortable with, we've at least met the submission requirements, so
Yeah.
we believe it's a complete application, and we're more than willing to take feedback and make adjustments to the design based on.
I'm okay with it as long as we do have that
Yeah.
leeway.
So I will restate my motion that this is a complete application.
Second it?
Aye.
Three.
Would you like to schedule the public hearing, or do you want to wait until receiving that?
I think that
Memo
we
from
would best
Acorn.
wait until we get the feedback from Acorn, and given that they think it's not a big deal, it may not be the next meeting, but it may be the one after that, if that's all right.
Yeah, can I ask a question about public hearing? Is a public hearing required in
Yes.
site plan review?
Yep.
Gotcha,
It
thank
is,
you. Yep. I knew it was for subdivision, but I wasn't.
And I believe it's a state law, so it's not even something that we can.
Some might argue that
Push
it's
through.
one of the major purposes of having a
Yes.
planning board is to allow for that public feedback and comment. Otherwise, just let the code office handle it.
So do we need to have the report in, or can that be a condition of approval?
So you can
Right.
schedule the public hearing within 45 days of when you found a submission of an application complete.
I'd like to give it, I'd like to have the Acorn information available for public comment when we have the public hearing.
Okay.
So when do you want the public hearing?
When can Acorn have I'd like to know when Acorn can have their response back.
Okay, I can submit it, we can submit tomorrow and see 2 to
Right,
3
see what
weeks,
they
as I
say.
think,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah, so it's probably gonna be not the next meeting, but the one after that.
okay.
We do we have to schedule a public hearing? Do you have to schedule a public hearing at a planning board meeting?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on the twice a month, man. Get 2 shots a month. You're
Sorry,
trying to
that,
play
I
your
think
work,
you,
yeah.
I didn't word that correctly.
There aren't any other opportunities.
To hold a public hearing,
Right.
but can we understand when Acorn's gonna return that review? And then schedule, at that point, schedule the public hearing, but,
Absolutely.
and schedule it for a planning board meeting, but maybe not discuss the schedule and actually schedule it at a planning board meeting.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, is that burdensome?
So if I understand the question,
He wants
It's hard to-
not schedule a public
hard to
hearing
ask.
until he hears back from Acorn.
correct.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Can we coordinate offline when the public
Yeah.
hearing's gonna
So
be held?
or is the board comfortable that if we get feedback from Acorn, that you want it scheduled then for the 4th of February?
No, I'd just as soon go along with the applicant's request. He wants a chance to look at what Acorn says before
But
we have
yeah.
a public hearing.
Right.
So I don't, until we know what Acorn says, I think we can't schedule the public hearing.
Okay.
I think
I agree.
okay.
I mean, it's inconceivable to me that they couldn't do this review inside of 4 weeks.
But if they come up with something that's gonna require a significant change, he doesn't wanna go to public hearing.
You want a chance to be able to, if you need to,
React.
react.
That's true,
Right, not like, oh, here's the report and the public meeting's that night.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
The purpose of the 45 deadline is because it's not to hold up the applicant. So if
I
you're
get it.
agreeable
We're
to
agree- we're
postpone it,
agreeable.
we will
We're agreeable.
certainly postpone it.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
okay. All set?
All set?
Thanks very much, appreciate it.
Good.
May I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
Mhm.
Great, thanks. Nadia, in terms of the letter that you spoke of, that I have no problem writing, I write it and I email it to you, and that's sufficient to satisfy the board?
Yeah, we need a signature.
Yeah, just.
Nadia's okay,
Signature.
you're okay.
That's what I
Because
figured.
I think, because there's not actual lots shown, I think that was the issue with the last application, but the letter should be good for this one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. D'Angelo, my cat sends her regards.
Are you doing all right?
I've been there. All right, we're gonna move on to the next item, number 251202, 10 Church Street. And shall I volunteer as case manager for that last one?
Sure.
Do you have any parochial interest in it?
Great, thank you.
Hey there. I'm Mike Bedell from Kennebunkport Architects, and I'm representing the owners of 10 Church Street. We had one meeting the last time, and I believe that since that meeting, we've kind of covered any questions and comments that the board had as far as a couple things on the site plan. We also provided a massing study to show you guys where the 30% expansion came from with this project. As you can see, we've kind of left quite a bit of the expansion still left on the table for this one. We just didn't need it. We also, on the site plan, which is flipped around from you guys, there was a couple questions about an existing concrete pad that was left on the site plan. I've had that removed so that there's no confusion that that is going to be taken away. And outside of that, we had the surveyor go back through and recalculate the new site coverages. So I think that kind of covered most of what was brought up last time.
Mhm.
And I added this to the SharePoint quite late today, but the applicant did receive DEP approval for the project.
Yes, in between the first meeting and now, it was a few days after that first meeting, the DEP did approve the project for a permit by rule. And there was quite a bit of discussion back and forth as far as where the new development was gonna go on the riverside versus there's a stringent, requirement for anything that's gonna be impactful of 25 feet from the resource. And we made sure that anything that we were doing was pulled back from that. So footings, there's no development whatsoever in that buffer zone.
Oh, I see that. You took the concrete pad out, extended the deck.
The code office appreciates the mass study. That helps us.
Makes it a little easier,
Yes,
right?
for
Yeah.
documentation purposes, for the property file, yeah.
Yeah. It's easy enough on our end to put together a model to show you guys exactly,
Yeah.
where we came from this.
The town tried to do, change it from volume and floor area to footprint expansion to update with shoreline zoning, and the residents still didn't want the change.
They still don't want to change.
Nope.
It makes it so much easier on my end
Yeah.
when you don't have to do that, but,
Yeah.
it's easy enough.
You have all the
also
CAD though. so
to do the
that's-
CAD stuff in
Yeah.
SketchUp, so it's fine.
Just to be clear, there will be a new concrete pad below the great room extension?
Correct.
Right.
So when you come out of that great room extension, there'll be most likely a bluestone pavers under there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no questions.
No, I don't have any other questions.
Nadia, I have the memo from the 17th of December. I haven't seen the,
Yeah, I don't think there was really anything outstanding. We can go through that memo. They took care of the authorization letter.
good.
Yep, and they got their DEP approval, so that was a common outstanding. We just received that today. There's still a waiver there for the signs,
Sure.
which again, that's, and lighting.
Stuff that's sort of not applicable.
The lighting hasn't been provided for the garage addition. I don't know if that's been,
It hasn't been designed, but we will make sure that when it is designed and installed, that it meets the requirements of the.
so for the planning board, item 13 on that memo, just make that a condition as part of the findings of fact. There was a question about landscape, there is no landscaping plan, but I think the intention is there just to reseed it with grass. And that's all the comments I'm seeing here. Nadia, did you have anything else as part of the memo? No.
So this is a public hearing this evening, right?
Yep.
Anyone here? No? Anybody online who wishes to speak to this?
2 people, but no hands raised.
All right, then we'll close the public hearing. And we'll offer a motion
Second the motion.
I'm in
to
favor.
approve this.
What's the motion for?
To approve this.
Oh, to approve.
With the waivers
Of course, with the submission.
and the condition?
Yes.
We will add that condition.
Okay.
I'll do the case manager.
We will, thank you.
I think that, oh, sorry, I'm mixing up my applications, don't mind me.
That never happens with me. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So then on the 21st of January, we'll do the reading of the finding of facts. You don't have to be here for that.
don't have to.
We'll
Okay.
contact you to let you know when they're ready to be picked up.
If you could
Thank
give us though, we need a set of rolled full-size plans with a signature box of that, oh, you have them
Got them
here?
right there.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, I'll leave them with you.
Great.
So I will pick them up tomorrow? Or when?
I would recommend just waiting until the findings of fact are ready. They both need to be recorded, so
Okay. Yep.
might as well save yourself a trip
Yeah.
to Alfred and just
That's
do it in
fine.
one go.
Yeah.
So probably the Thursday after the next meeting is when they'll be
Okay,
ready.
that's when they'll be ready.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
My name is Chris Hickotti. I'm the owner of Church Street. My wife Laura and I were very excited to move to Kennebunkport. I've spent my whole life summering up here with my family.
You're new owners. Somehow I didn't pick up on that before. That's great.
We're what?
You're new owners of the property.
Yes, we're new owners,
Ah, okay.
yes. I spent a lot of time in that harbor right there. And I'm not sure where that dock is. That looks like it's on Langsford Road. I wanted to inform you, folks, that I received an invoice, a very official-looking invoice from the town of Kennebunkport, Planning and Development Department, to me, Chris and Laura Hickotti, and it had an invoice of $6,953, payment method wiring. It also included a note saying, please sign the invoice and return it along with wire payment
Oh,
Wow.
to the provided email address for confirmation. And it lists all the fees, licensure and certification approval fee, application processing and review, legal and compliance evaluation, record keeping and inclusion, et cetera, facility and infrastructure evaluation, total amount due $6,953.
so what'd you do?
I'll tell you that in a second.
Oh, all right.
It said the only method of payment was to wire. In other words,
So
you
that
had
was,
to,
that was a red flag.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went to town hall and I met my new best friend Nadia. I actually rang the bell and said, I'm here to give you money, and 3 people appeared immediately.
Yeah.
And Nadia and the other girl, I forget.
Kimmy.
What was her name?
Kimmy?
Kimmy, yes. Told me it was a scam
Clearly, yeah.
and that I should never wire anything to the board. I actually had a check in hand, but
Oh, boy.
it turns out, as I suspected, we had already paid those fees with Mike. Just wanted you to be aware of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
It's the first
it's
I've ever
actually,
heard of that happening, but you gotta wonder,
And,
why you, why now?
Well, because it's
Yeah.
public.
well, you
But
might
why
have.
not the 2 other applications?
Maybe they
You-
paid it.
Well, the other applicants did receive the same
They did?
scam.
Okay.
You may have noticed a flurry of notifications from the SharePoint. I don't know if it updated you on all these things. We have taken steps. We've redacted all the contact information on applications that are visible to the public. The police department was notified. I don't know if they reached out to the applicant yet, but we've notified them of any that we've received. It has been going around different towns as well. We received, one of the applicants also received it. He said he got the same thing for projects he's doing in Saco and Scarborough and other surrounding towns. So it's going around. We're taking our steps to prevent it from happening in the future. And hopefully we won't see it happen again in Kennebunkport. And we emailed all the active applicants to let them know that, this has been happening and these are the things to look out for. That, let them know that, first of all, we don't do wire transfers in the town, so that's an immediate red flag, and it came from a fake email address and a couple of other things. So
Did it come from a kennebunkport.gov email address?
it did not.
Okay.
Probably a
But-
Gmail.
But it looked pretty official.
But
It was
close.
it was something like planning.kennebunkport@usa.com or something like that.
and
So-
it said, good morning, Chris and Laura Hickotti. Please be advised that at this time, payment may only be remitted by a wire transfer No alternative methods of payment are accepted. All required wire transfer instructions will be provided upon request to ensure timely and proper processing of the associated fees. So just be aware.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
good
for-
work.
No, thank you.
Sniffing
Thanks
it
for
out.
sharing it, because I know it's not a big Zoom community maybe, but the word will get out. This
Yeah.
is-
Yeah.
That's really the only thing we have to combat this type
Well,
of scam.
The wise words from Nadia were, don't ever wire anything.
Yes,
Yeah,
we don't
but
do
The
wires.
next scam will play some other game.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for your approval.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Enjoy it.
Good.
I'm sure you will. All right, go on to item 4, other business. I do have one findings of fact. Is it just the one? Do you have official copies?
I do.
Yeah, because.
And have the plans to sign too, but we can do that after the
Oh, yeah,
meeting,
okay.
on the way out. Before we do the findings, another other business, I think I put it on the agenda. Just moving forward, if we have a site plan that comes in that requires them to submit a stormwater report, is the board comfortable giving us direction in the future that if we receive a stormwater management plan for a site plan, that we send it to a third-party
We've had
reviewer?
this discussion before, and the board.
For
said
site
yes.
plan?
For subdivisions, we did. We didn't do it.
Subdivision.
So
Yeah,
we
didn't
wanna
do
make
it.
sure that we're
Yeah.
clear for site plans as well.
That's why it was a little strange, is because we never really get those
I vote
requests.
yes. If it makes life easier, I'm for it.
It'll be quicker process.
It makes life more efficient,
Yes.
mostly.
I think that the expertise, the levels of expertise here, we're going out of house because it's expertise that isn't held routinely in the program office, in the code office. But your expertise that you have access to in the code office is superior to that of the board. So I think we want you to make the call, and I know that if there's a question about it, then you'll reach out.
Yeah.
But yes, in general, we're not gonna, this is like me telling someone the other week, we're not gonna go against the fire department, the fire chief said. We're not gonna go against what the code office is advising us here. It's not our job.
I think that we specifically wanted to get approval for this because it is a fee that we don't usually charge for site
Yeah,
plan.
it's awkward.
So anytime we need to ask someone for more money, it certainly is, we want to make sure we have a clear understanding with the
I
board.
don't wanna be overruled on that.
Yes.
Embarrassed.
So here's the findings.
No, thank you. Okay. This is the findings of fact for the change of use at 127 Ocean Ave for the Breakwater Inn. Kennebunkport Planning Board, which we approved at the last meeting. Kennebunkport Planning Board findings of fact and decision, application of Breakwater Inn for a change of use at 127 Ocean Ave, Kennebunkport, Maine, 04046. Following site plan reviews pursuant to the Kennebunkport Land Use Ordinance, held on 15 October, 5 November, and 19 November 2025, and public hearings held on 3 and 17 December 2025, the Kennebunkport Planning Board makes the following findings of fact and conclusions and renders the following decision subject to the conditions enumerated below. The findings of fact are as follows. 1, the applicant is Shiva Natarajan of 8 Pepperell Way, York, Maine, 03909. 2, in a letter dated 15 October 2025, the applicant authorized John Einsiedler, R.A., to represent him in this matter before the planning board. 3, the property is located at 127 Ocean Ave, Kennebunkport, Maine, 04046. 4, the property is identified as map 8, block 1, lot 9, on the municipal tax assessor's maps. 5, the property is 0.75 acres and it's located in the riverfront zone. 6, the applicant demonstrated a legal interest in the property by providing a quitclaim deed recorded in the York County Registry of Deeds, book 19586, page 699. Excuse me. 7, in an application dated 30 November 2025, the applicant proposed to change the use of 4 spa rooms and gym area, making interior changes to convert them into 4 guest rooms. No exterior changes are proposed. 8, in a letter dated 17 December 2025, the applicant provided an analysis detailing the 37 parking spaces required to satisfy Land Use Ordinance 240-6.9 and a parking plan showing the availability of those spaces. 9, pursuant to the requirements of 10.10A of the Land Use Ordinance, Guidelines and Decisions, the planning board shall approve a site plan application unless it makes a negative ruling on one or more of the following identified findings, which would otherwise compel denial. And the findings, all of them, A through P, are either yes or not applicable. All good. Any negative finding by the board means that the application has been denied. The application is otherwise complete. Conclusions. Articles 10.10A of the Land Use Ordinance mandates that the planning board shall approve a site plan application unless it makes one or more identified findings that would otherwise compel denial. And as noted above, the board makes no such findings. Decision, the site plan application identified above is hereby approved. 2 conditions. The applicant pursuant to 10.12E shall notify the planning board prior to the transfer of rights to construct an approved project. And 2, the applicant must record a copy of this decision and provide proof of such recordation in the York County Registry of Deeds before any permits may issue or before any construction activity may commence. Dated 7 January 2026 by the Kennebunkport Planning Board. That's all she wrote.
Beautiful.
Your 2 copies.
I believe you have
You
both
gave
of them.
them
Yep. So while you guys are signing, one more thing that Galen and I wanted to see if you guys were amenable to is another training, maybe before the next meeting, to go over subdivision, road standards, and waiver requests kind of in general. We've been reviewing the subdivision road standards again, and they are confusing to us and numerous. So we thought that it might be helpful for you guys if we did a little bit of a training on those as well. And if you liked the format last time where we just did it before the meeting, we would be open to that again.
I think it's great. I don't know that you need to go to the expense of pizza, though. It's kind, but.
Well, if you guys want something different, we can, just let us know.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I just felt badly last time, there was so much.
Yep, we can do something smaller.
That was a kind thought, that's for sure.
Mhm.
Appreciate it. All right, then,
Thank you.
I know we're gonna sign plans afterwards.
Yep,
but-
I'll roll them out here.
But, we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
Adjourned at,
Let's do it.
7:21.
Nice.
Yeah.
A little better than last week, huh?
Aye.